Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ground Control Branching Out podcast. I'm your humble host, Neil Bailey, and today we are chatting to Heather Goddard, buying manager here at GC. So let's hear what Heather and Lion Poo have in common. Yes, you heard that right.
Welcome to the podcast, Heather. Really good to have you on an episode. So please, if you would, say who you are and what you do.
My name's Heather Goddard. I've been with the company for just over 18 years and I work within the procurement team.
For 18 years?
It's been a while.
When you're getting your gold watch and all that kind of stuff.
I don't know. Jason, I'm going to refer to you to that.
So what's a typical week look like for you? What do you do in procurement?
So my main role is supporting the construction arm of the business.
Uh-huh.
So we like to think it's all about strategic, looking at value added services. So it's all about that early engagement with the construction managers, getting that communication piece right with them. There's a lot around partnering with the commercial division, so Mark Woodard's team, looking at the visibility of budgets, maximising margins, along with the team that work for me, developing their knowledge on the products, talking to all the suppliers, getting them in, just seeing how we can work more collaboratively together.
Yeah. So are you then purchasing supplies to be delivered and used on construction sites? Is that?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So over the years, we've bought everything from dog agility items to go in.
I wasn't expecting that. Okay.
Yeah, to pirate boats for playgrounds,
nice.
through to a bit of MOT type 1 and topsoil. And I like to think that we buy enough trees and shrubs to offset all our carbon footprints from getting on the plane and going on holiday.
I like that. and I keep asking, various people, and it's always interesting to get an answer. Is your role seasonal? Does what you're looking at change?
That's a really good question and a really tough one to answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, in a way, because you obviously come into the planting season in October, November time, where we can buy all our bare root trees and shrubs, which obviously saves us an incredible amount of money.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really affect the volume that we do. The construction guys are never going to give us a minute's rest. So years ago, you used to find the construction sites used to shut down just before Christmas.
Right.
They don't now. We're full pelt up to Christmas Eve, and then we hit the ground running again in the new year.
Yeah. Okay. So the volume stays the same, but what you're purchasing potentially changes. That'd be right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Depends completely on the projects that the estimating team win. So you never know quite what we're going to get. So we could get a playground. In the past, they've moved an island in a lake. So we had to do some procurement all around that to help them capture the fish. And it's, you never know quite what estimating are going to win. So it keeps you on your toes, which is always exciting. And it's good because it means we always are learning. So I love it.
So moving the island, hopefully the pirate ship came in handy for that one, possibly.
Yeah, it was a different site, unfortunately, but it would have been really good to combine the two.
So let's think about the playground. I know we've done a few of those. So a kind of request comes in for a playground, from the estimating team, if that's how it works. So what then happens? What's the process that you and your team go through?
So we get a call from estimating to say, great news, we've won a project. So hurrah.
Hurrah.
Hurrah. And off we go. So we attend a handover meeting. So that's usually got the estimator, the construction manager, their senior, and the estimator will go through the bill of quantities. We then produce a procurement strategy document, which is basically all the items we need to buy. We then work with the construction manager over how long the lead times are on them products, and also when he wants them on site. So we can then place the orders to make sure we get the product to site at the right time.
Makes sense.
And also at the right price to come in, hopefully under the budget that the estimators have given in the tender stage. And so then lots of work with the construction managers, making sure they get the requisition over to us. We then go out to the market, look at price, availability, any other value added services that they might be able to add, and then raise them all important purchase orders. And then deal with any invoice queries. So work really closely with the purchase ledger team and the field team to get all those guys on site paid and the suppliers paid.
Yeah. And just going back slightly to what you just mentioned, what would be some examples of that, the value added that you mentioned there?
That could be something along the lines of a supplier might come in and do a CPD to us, the architects, the estimating. It could be that they work with us to value engineer a project. So they say, instead of having a 10-litre shrub, you could have a 5-litre shrub. You'll still get the same size plant. It just comes in a smaller pot.
Right. Okay. I'm with you. So they're bringing in potentially a bit of their expertise, that kind of stuff. Okay. You always come across as very passionate about what you do. What is it about what you do that makes you so passionate? Why do you love it?
I love the procurement side. I love the buying side. I am an RHS member, so I love the whole horticultural thing as well. I try and get myself to Chelsea every year. And it kind of combines two loves. I'm doing my SIPS level 6 along with Ashley in the team. So we're getting that educational piece as well to develop our procurement skills. So when we've got that, it's going to double the amount of SIPS qualified people in the team. So that learning as well and that constant development, I really enjoy as well. And I enjoy the fact that you never know quite what construction manager is going to ask you to buy. And I love that, being kept on your toes all the time. And SIPS is Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply.
Right. Okay. So they're kind of an awarding body, are they?
They're our procurement body. So.
Right. Okay.
So that's the top level that you can get to. So it'll get myself and Ashley less after our names if we care to use them.
Nice. And you said you obviously love the horticultural side, so you're knowing your plants. I was going to say your onions, but I guess that's similar. So what is it about the purchasing, the buying that you like?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I just enjoy the whole bartering, the whole it's all about how you speak to people. There's an awful lot of supplier engagement, building them relationships, working collaboratively. It's all about that, and I enjoy. We're doing a piece at the moment around battery operated kit, and
of course
we've got the whole open day with up at Shifnal with Steel coming along, and it stretches your knowledge. So you're always learning, and I love that. It's never a dull moment.
That's good. That's what I like to hear. It's often an interesting question when it's somebody like yourself who is externally focused, but a lot of your work is coming from internal. What, if any, misconceptions are there about procurement in your area that you'd like to debunk?
I think that there's a myth that we're just admin.
Okay.
All the girls in the office will do that. And I think we can actually bring a lot more to the party than that. That whole driving costs down to increase profitability, benchmarking, best practice. There's lots that we can bring to the table. And I think working with commercial particularly is enabling us to use that platform really well.
Right. Yeah. As ever, ground control is increasing, it's expanding, it's doing what ground control does best. What do you see as the potential challenges for your area coming up?
There's a whole big challenge all around reducing carbon and getting to the carbon net zero by 2038. So yes, we're doing our bit with the battery operated kit and all of that, but it's actually to do with our supply chain and getting them to tie into that, things around The carbon and concrete's a really high one.
Sure.
So there's an awful lot of pressure on to make sure that the supply chain are on that journey. We had a conversation with one of our suppliers yesterday all around lorries and when we're going to be able to get to the stage where you'll get battery lorries to just pull that carbon down. So I think that that's going to be one of the biggest challenges, that sustainability piece.
Yeah.
But again, really interesting, gives us an opportunity to shine.
Yeah. And generally, how up for it are suppliers?
I think there are definitely two camps. You've got one which is really, let's go, let's see what we can do.
Right.
We're on this journey with you. And we've got others who are a bit, oh, yeah. What else did you want to talk about today? But I think that depends on, I think the more of our suppliers, customers who are beating that drum with us on sustainability, the more the supplier will have to start to address it. And being one of the bigger landscapers, we do have that ability to bang quite a large drum with some of the supply chain.
Yeah.
But then we're a small fry to some of our other, for instance, the builders merchants, we're quite small fry.
Of course. Yeah.
So we need some of the big main contractors to start really driving that, and then we can link in and say, yep, that's us as well, please.
Yeah. Yeah. And will you have much to do with the new energy part of the business?
We do. For one of my team is actually does the ordering for that. So
wow.
Looking forward to that. So we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Big new world.
It is, and it's really exciting. And hopefully, some of what they're doing, we can then use and go into some of the other divisions. So actually, I think that that's also partly what our role is. If we see good practice in one division, to say, actually, could we use that over here? And
And just circling back to these SIPs, how far are you into that?
We're on level 6. We're exam number 3 is on its way very quickly next month. So, but don't ask me how many there are because there's far too many.
I wasn't going to go down that route. So since it's exam 3, I'm going to stick with the number 3 because let's face it, it is the magic number. So what are 3 things you've learned on SIPs that you've been able to apply back into work?
The big thing for me is probably more of the theory side.
Okay.
I've pretty much done most of my working life in procurement in different sorts of businesses. So for me, it was a lot of the theory around it. And the module we're doing at the moment is all about strategic ethical leadership.
Nice.
So actually, it then starts to think about how you're managing your team. So it's not just about procurement. It then touches on those other areas as well. Yeah. So can I cheat and stop at 2? Because that's probably my 2 biggest takeaways.
That's allowed. That's fine.
Lovely.
And I'm going to do a bit of a confession here. So even though it always looks interesting, I've never been to Chelsea, to the flower show. So for the, let's say, non-believers like me who kind of like the idea but have never quite got round to it, why should we go?
Because Ground Control have got a stand this year. We're doing another garden. We did one last year and got Silver Gill, of which I was involved. And we're doing another one this year, providing the RHS have signed it off. So yes, it's very inspiring, and you see the latest garden design trends, for want of a better word. But it's when you look at the show gardens and they have 3 weeks to build a show garden, that blows my mind when you stand there and you look at, and one of them particularly comes to mind is the Lockkeeper's Cottage. So I urge people to Google the Lockkeeper's Cottage at Chelsea. And to look at that and think they built that in 3 weeks. That is one heck of a build to manage. And it's that, and it looks like it's been there for years and years and years, and that just blows me away. to look at that. And you might have something like a Yorkshire garden next door to something that looks very Japanese, Asian inspired.
Yeah.
And it's that contradiction, for want of a better phrase, that, and you do go around and you do sometimes stand there and think, oh, I don't like that, but I do like that. And it's very subjective to individuals, because you can stand next to people who say, oh, I hate that. And you stand there thinking, actually, I quite like this. Yeah. But beauty is in the eye of the owner, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Some people like myself would be listening. You'd mentioned the pirate ship and the dog agility stuff. Yeah. So I'm going to have to ask the question that is at the forefront of my mind, and probably many others. What is the most unusual thing you've had to purchase?
It probably is that dog agility one.
Right.
But I know people in the team, when they listen to this, will be shouting at me for not mentioning the lion's poo that we were once asked for.
The lion's poo? Tell me more.
So we got requested for lion's poo for a site. So we had no more to do but phone the local zoo, because we couldn't think of anywhere else where we might get it. And we were informed that we couldn't buy the lion's poo because there was a risk of contamination and health and safety.
Okay.
As to why we couldn't buy it. So we then had to go a different. So unfortunately, there was no lion's poo to be had. So that was the end of that one. Who knew that lion's poo was a thing that you could need to put on plants?
Do you know what it was, why it was needed? Did you ever get to the bottom of that?
I never got to the bottom of it. And sometimes I've learned in this job, don't ask too many questions, because you might not want to hear the answer.
There you are, saying that you like learning new things, and now you're saying don't ask, you know.
On lion's poo, I was a bit scared, it must be said.
I mean, you could have at least gone to the beginning of it all and actually just purchased a lion. Maybe that would have been the better route.
I think that would have been far easier, probably.
I like it. Outside of work, what do you want to learn next?
I'm fairly into my genealogy.
Oh.
So I would probably like to take that a bit further than where I've got to.
Yeah.
It's been sitting on the shelf like all these good things for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And I would probably like to get back into that and push that on a bit further.
Yeah.
We're about 8 generations back, I think, but I'd like to go a bit further back.
Yeah. And, you know, we also want to kind of get behind the individual, so to speak. So what makes you tick outside of work?
That's a really difficult question to answer. Probably more about getting outside, walking, enjoying the outdoor life. That's probably.
Yeah.
I do quite enjoy going up into Scotland, getting up on just getting outside and just seeing something, or visiting somewhere you haven't visited before.
Yeah, so outside probably fits in with your RHS membership, I'm sure, as well.
Yeah, I'm very lucky to have RHS High School just down the road. There's a few other GC staff that are members, so you do sometimes bump into the odd GC member of staff as you're walking around. Yeah.
Does that then equate to a fabulous garden of your own?
Definitely not. I try.
Okay.
I desperately try.
Right.
So, and if anyone has got any advice on how to grow rhubarb, I'd be really grateful, because I just cannot get mine to grow properly.
Oh, okay.
So,
in what way?
It's just, I get about 2-3 shoots, and then they look at me and then they go, no, I've had enough now, thanks, bye. So top tips on rhubarb, please, to my email address.
Okay, maybe see me after class. I've got 2 fairly decent rhubarb plants, so you know, I don't know what I'm doing right, because I don't do a lot with them, but they generally do pretty well.
I am very envious.
There you go. You did not know you were coming onto a podcast and you'd end up with rhubarb envy. You know, who knew we were going to end up down that route?
I like it.
So we are in time for our final completely non-work related question. I thought this might work well with yours because, again, you do have lots of different things that you get involved with from the negotiation, the procurement, all that sort of stuff. So if your job was a pizza, what toppings would it have and why?
Definitely no tomatoes. I can't abide them.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go controversial. I would probably have some pineapple on there.
Yes, this is going to tear the audience.
Pizza. I'm going to get so many complaints about that. Then probably chorizo, salami, that sort of thing.
Nice.
And a fair wallop of cheese, because anyone who knows me knows I love cheese. So,
okay, yeah. Nice. So sweet from the pineapple. We've got plenty of kind of spice from the sausage, different types of sausage there. And then I've never heard it, in chef circles called a wallop of cheese, but maybe this is new terminology maybe it's a procurement terminology. I need to purchase a wallop of cheese, I think.
Wallop of cheese, yeah. Good. Yeah, controversial that probably sums me up though, doesn't it?
What, controversial?
It's controversial, yeah.
So on that
note, now on a pizza or not?
Yeah. Well, now there's going to be plenty of people shouting at their podcast player about whether they do pineapple or not pineapple on a pizza. We'll draw this to a close. So thanks so much, Heather. That's been really interesting and really good, even just from my own personal point of view, to find out, I suppose, the breadth of what you and your team get involved with as well. And, of course, I'll never forget lion poo now. So
you're more than welcome. It's been a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you.
And there you have it, everybody. Heather Goddard. This is potentially one of those podcasts that could split the audience. Are you a pineapple on the pizza person or not? Thanks for listening. Please do like, subscribe, share, and until next time, take care.